Hi, my name is Steve and I'm a cartoonist. I've been asked to say something about how I became a cartoonist and what role God has played in that. I've always liked the story that Jesus told about a man who gave his servants talents to look after while he was away. The talents in the parable were units of money, but of course today we call a talent something we're good at. The good servants in the story invested in their talents to make more talents, and then, when their master returned, he gave them even more talents as a reward. I believe that God has given us all a talent or two. It might not be something we think we're good at, but maybe something we really enjoy doing. I've been drawing cartoons since I was about 5 or 6 years old. I don't think I was much good at it, but I enjoyed doing it. I used to copy Walt Disney characters from a book. I used to draw them on the kitchen floor because there was lots of space. No, sorry, not literally on the kitchen floor, but on a piece of paper on the kitchen floor. As I grew older, I got better at drawing and soon found that wherever I went, people would ask me to draw a cartoon for them. Then, as an adult, I was finding I took my cartoons into all sorts of walks of life. One thing you'll find out about growing up is that life gets more and more complicated. I don't like it when life gets complicated, so I decided to try and keep it simple. There's nothing more simple than a cartoon, so I decided to make it my job. Maybe that is the advice I would give to anyone looking for what God has in store for their lives. Keep it simple. Find out what you're good at and enjoy doing, and keep on doing it. Do it for God and try and get better at it. Grow your talents as the servants did in Jesus' parable, and see what God has in store for you.
Hello, I feel that my calling is to get alongside people in my community where I live and make friends with them and support them.
Hi everyone, my name's Jono. I suppose what I would say a calling from God is for me is something that I believe that God has chosen me to do. Now I believe for everyone there is a calling on our lives, that God has chosen each of us for amazing things. But for me, I sense that is helping those in need and kind of leading within the church. So that is what I have chosen to do in my life. That's what I'm pursuing in terms of my future, and that's where I feel God wants me to be.
Hi, my name's Emily. I'm a Christian, and I believe that God has called me to be married to my husband, to have 2 little children, and now I think he's calling me to be a vicar, and I'm training to be a vicar at the moment. I think he's given me all the gifts and abilities I need to do that job, and that he's with me and he's helping me on the way.
Somebody once told me that calling is the place where our deep joy meets the world's deep need. We all have a desire to belong and to have purpose in this world and in our lives. How do we find our purpose and our calling, our reason for being here? For me, as a Christian, my purpose is to worship God and to help others discover how much He loves them and that He created them. So I work in a church where I try and help other people find their purpose and their calling. And it's all based around the fact that God has made each one of us individually, and He's the one that gives our life purpose. It's not because of anything we've done, it's because of who God is and because He made us. So if you're trying to find your purpose and your calling, find the thing, not that makes you happy, because lots of things make us happy. Find the thing that gives you deep joy. And often it's the things that are really difficult, but if we push through, we have that sense of accomplishment and a sense of responsibility and a sense of purpose. And it's God that puts that desire in there. So, what is calling? A place where your deep joy meets the world's deep need. Because all of us want to be part of making this world a better place. And God is the one that helps us do that.
Hello, my name's Reverend Susan Seed, and I'm vicar of 3 parishes just north of Lancaster. Now, I was a teacher for 30 years, but then I heard God calling me to be a priest, to be a vicar. And that happened when I went away to a little island called Iona. And Iona's off the northwest coast of Scotland. You have to travel a long way to get there. And while I was there, I heard God calling me. And you might think, well, how did she hear God calling? Well, I heard him through the songs that I was singing when I was worshipping in the abbey there. And I heard him through Bible readings. And I heard him through conversations that I had with other people who were saying, why didn't I get ordained and become a vicar? And so it was quite a remarkable experience for me. And when I came home, I said to my vicar, I think God's calling me to be a vicar. And he said, yeah, I think you're right. So then I had to go away to vicar school and I had to study very hard. And eventually I was ordained. And I feel it was very much the right thing to do. And I really enjoy what I'm doing now.
I'm Stephen. I'm a pastor of a church in Morecambe. Now, when we get a call on our phone, we can decide whether or not we want to answer it. Sometimes we might know who's calling, we might think, oh, I don't want to speak to them now, or we might think we do want to speak to them. Now, when God calls us, speaking to us through the Bible, through our prayer time, maybe through other believers, I believe it's right that we follow him. We work out, actually, is this from God? And if it is a call from God, it's the right thing to do to follow. I believe God called me to be a pastor, so that's why I followed. And it was maybe not the easiest thing to do, but it's proved to be the right thing to do, to follow God's call.
When I finished high school, I went to university and trained to become a nurse so that I could look after people in hospital. I didn't realise this, but I see now that that was God's calling for me. Sometimes God wants to use the things that we're good at and that we enjoy to serve and help other people. Another way that I believe I've heard God's calling is in a worship meeting, a youth meeting. And I was singing the songs and listening to the speaker, and I remember really knowing that what God was saying through that meeting was very loud in my heart, and I wanted to say yes to Jesus and yes to following God's plan and purpose for my life.